Here's how I keep my entire life on track with a dissociative condition, 7 colors, 1 book, and a million different check marks. It doesn't solve everything, but it's a good place to start when you are drowning in overwhelm. Hello friends, welcome or welcome back. I'm gonna spend some time geeking out with you today. If you're not into that kind of thing, that's totally fine. Just go find another video of mine that I've posted and give it a thumbs up, and maybe give this one a thumbs up on your way out. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to be kind to yourself and others today. Bye! But for those of you who are into this, here's how I keep my entire life on track with a dissociative condition, 7 colors, 1 book, and a million different check marks. I have spent literal years trying to make my brain function the way that I want it to, and it's not happening. As it turns out, no amount of talk therapy is going to change your neurotype, but it can enlighten you to how the brain that you were blessed with operates. And just like with any other piece of machinery, if you open the manual and take a look through it, you will figure out how to maintain that piece of machinery without voiding the warranty. This method that I use may not work for everybody because every single person is different, and I think that's great. This might not even make sense to everybody, but we're gonna see, I guess. I do it this way because I find that my brain and memory work best when there are easy associations tied to each thing that I need to remember or accomplish. And it's a lot of stuff, and that's why we need a system like this. Let me try to explain using an empty planner that I had abandoned before finessing this technique. Each day of the week has a color associated with it. I do this because when I'm trying to remember something, it's like trying to pull a photo or a file out of a folder in a box in a warehouse. And it can be overwhelming to try to find something like a needle in a haystack, you know? I label everything in a way that I think will make it easier for me to access the file when I need to. I hope that makes sense. Inside Out. Has anybody ever watched Inside Out? Kinda like that. My color system is that Monday is pink, Tuesday is red, Wednesday is orange, Thursday is yellow, but that's kinda hard to read on a white background, so I use gray or black. Friday is green, Saturday is blue, and Sunday is purple. How do I remember each color and day? I use the old Roy G. Biv, and I put pink before red, because I don't know where it actually belongs, but that's where I put it in my planner. Each day I use the color of pen that corresponds with the day of the week that it currently is. I write down every task in that color, no matter which day of the week I'm writing it down on. I do it this way so that I can put myself in the headspace of Tuesday when I go to accomplish the task that I wrote down for Thursday on Tuesday, so I can kind of get into the where was I going with this, and kind of grasp the general vibe of Tuesday so that I know what the heck I was talking about when I try to do it on Thursday. Duh! When Thursday rolls around, I can dig for Tuesday in my brain if I need any additional context for how much of a priority this task is, etc., etc. I guess there could be a symbol for this, but there isn't yet. I don't ever cross things off my list because I find it makes me feel ashamed at not having accomplished it, and shame isn't a motivator for me. Shame shuts me down. So none of that. What I do instead is check things off in the color of the day that I actually accomplish them on the day that I do it, if that makes sense. I do this even if it's later in the week. Doesn't matter. I wrote it down on Monday and I don't do it till Sunday. That's fine. I check it off on Sunday in purple. Let's not be unreasonable. Nobody can do all of the things all of the time. I would know I burnt myself out trying. So, if I don't think that I'll be able to get a task accomplished within the week that I wrote it down, that's okay. I go and write it on the next week on a date that I think will be more realistic to expect myself to be able to do it, and then I put a little X beside the task on the day that I decide not to do it. So if on Friday I decided, oof, I can't do this week, I'll write it down next Friday and then put an X on it in green. I put the X after already writing it down on a different day because my brain registers a check mark, or, you know, an X, I guess, as a reward. Oh, this thing is done now, dealt with, bye. So we have to rewrite it down on a new day before putting the X down. Once all the tasks assigned to a day are addressed, I take the color of pen that it is on the day that everything gets wrapped up, and I put a nice, demure, mindful check mark in the corner. I'm just kidding. It's actually across most of the empty space and is kind of obnoxious. But I do this because celebrating small victories feels good and helps to create those new neural pathways that we're out here working towards. On the monthly page, I use a pencil to cross out days after they're over, and I place a little check mark beside the date in the same color as the yay, we did everything everything one on the weekly format. I have a list of bills and expenses on the side of the page, as well as written down on each day when they come out of my account in the monthly and weekly pages. When you're out here balling on a budget, for me anyway, it's necessary to be this thorough because one missed bill could be disaster. If you're living paycheck to paycheck but don't have a paycheck, you might be familiar with this. I am checking off items on the day that they were actually accomplished instead of ever crossing things off the list and doing the monthly page colored check marks thing. That has been really helpful for me tracking my productivity because I have a lot of stuff going on in every sense. I got it going on. But it's necessary to my survival and well-being and sanity to make sure that I'm doing things on the days that I can do things, and I'm not forcing things on the days that I can't, because forcing things on the days that you can't just bleeds over into your good, high productivity days and makes it harder to be productive on those days. If you have a chronic condition of any kind, I feel like that might make sense to you, and if it doesn't, ask someone in your life who has a chronic condition of any kind. It's important for me personally to track my productivity because there are some days that I simply won't be able to do housework. There's some days I won't be able to take a client call. I won't be able to do any paid work. There are some days when I genuinely cannot record videos. It's not an option for me. And there are other days when I'm just spent and have nothing left to give. You need to know when those days are so that you can build your schedule around it. Using this system has helped me kind of try to build a schedule that works for me. And of course, there are always external factors that kind of jumble things and make it really hard to stay consistent and stable, which is what I crave. The way that we get as close to consistent and stable as possible is by tracking things. This, for me, is perfect and ideal when it comes to carrying on through things that are not perfect and ideal. This accommodates the needs that I have whether I like it or not. And I've finally come to understand that I need to accommodate those needs or else they're going to dictate my entire life. And so I use a planner, and it's kind of helping for now. Do you have a planner that you use? Do you have one of those really fancy ones like the Clever Fox one or the ADHD one that Danny Donovan made? Please share your experience and all that stuff because I'm fascinated by this. I love it, and I really find it interesting how different people stay organized for their own specific neurotype. I just think it's great that there's so many options, and I want to know what your experience is with the fancy ones because I want one, but Walmart planner it is for a few more years probably. I digress. I find this stuff fascinating, and I think the more we share, the more other people can see what we have going on, and maybe it'll help them make sense of their life a little bit. Staying organized and kind of making sense of the life that I live has helped me in all aspects of my life, at least a little bit. This is in no way me saying, use a planner, it'll solve your life and cure your ADHD or whatever. It doesn't solve everything, but it's a good place to start when you are drowning in overwhelm. Knowing what's coming at you during the week can help you not get surprised by it. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you as always to the Turtle Club for keeping this little channel afloat. Don't forget to be kind to yourself and others today, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!